Hello, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. My husband just skipped out, and I think my camera is crooked. Let's see what we can do about it. Let's see if I can get us back. Okay. Hold on just a sec, you guys. Okay. There we go. All right. We are live and in color. Welcome to Life Class. You coming in the house? Did you find something? He's been coughing and stuff. So I told him get him a cough drop before we get started.
Well, hold on, let's start. You can be all right, want to. You don't have to. Wait. Don't be. I don't want to impose this on you.
Well, you already
have.
I hope you guys are having a good day so far. Well, the day's almost over with, but hope you've had a good day so far. We've been kind of busy today.
Happy Easter, y'all.
Huh? Anybody tuning into us is going to think we're absolutely Looney Tunes. And it'll be your fault.
Have a great holiday. Keely. Hello out
Look,
there.
you jumping all the way. Keely, hey. Hey, Keely.
Hey.
You skipped over a whole bunch of people.
That's all right. That's what I looked at when I come up. Hello, Mr. Norman, Mr. Carr, and Mr. Linda, and Brother John Greaston, and Miss Keely. Keely Lee.
All right, we'll let you do that today. I think I'm too sleepy to even resist.
Grow your beard and you'll be right. I'll wake you up. I'm waking you up, Al.
No. You're not waking me up at all. Anyhow, I'm glad you guys are with us tonight.
You've been drinking Jack Daniels today. That's why she's sleeping.
No, if I did that, I'd be laying under the table by
No,
now.
you
Hey,
can take.
Brand.
Hey,
Sissy, I love you too, honey bun.
hey.
Listen, don't be acting so crazy now. We've got work to do.
I know. I'm talking to everybody. I'm speaking
We got
to her.
work to do. I didn't wear my hat. I forgot it.
You want mine? Go ahead, girl. You sharp as a tack.
Oh Lord.
Hey, is it right? It's right up there.
Yeah, but now if you take it off, my hair gonna be all just.
Well, don't worry about it.
Too good already.
Then people know how you look anyway.
Yeah, this. Okay.
Oh, but do mine like that too. See mine flip up like that.
It is what it is. It's doing its thing. It's doing its thing. I let it be natural. All natural. Hey, Carolyn.
Is that Carolyn?
Carolyn Steele. How you doing? She hadn't been on here in a while. At least not talking to us on here for a while. She said you made her day. Had it all.
Well, it's good to see everybody. We'll have a little fun here today. Cutting up a little bit.
And you can have your cough drop, but you cannot pop it entire time. Do that. Oh, wow. Lord. Nobody wants to hear that.
Oh, it tastes good. Y'all can talk to me like this. Well.
Look, they can't say anything except they can type it, and that's all they can do.
Well, that's all right then. Anywho. You sit as I am. I can see that. Hey.
Well, that's what kept us together all these years.
Hello. Brand. You ought to be ashamed of yourself.
Brand, I found a picture of him and Jakyla at Christmas time. You had her on your lap.
That was a pretty picture.
Yeah.
I wish you could show it to him.
Oh, I could, but I'd have to go out of this particular platform in order to do it. But I could pull it up.
Oh.
Let me see if I can get it right quick. Let's see if I can. I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try to. Let's see. That ain't what I want. Oh, here it is. Oh, shucks.
Didn't hear it, did you?
Yeah, let's see. Bear with me, guys. Bear with me. I'm gonna see if I can find that picture of him and Jakyla. Yeah, it was such a cute picture. Such a cute picture. Shucks. It may take me too long. Go ahead and talk while I find it.
Well, I'm waiting on you.
Well, I mean, you go ahead and talk while I'm finding it.
That's all right. That's all right. I see Miss Essie on that.
I think I might have had it in my. Oh gosh, where did I have it?
Is that it there?
I don't know. Go see. That's not it. Why aren't these pictures showing up? Anyway, it was a Christmas.
It was a Christmas picture.
It was a folder with Christmas stuff in it. Yeah. Oh, shucks. Let's see. Anyway, go ahead and talk while I find it, please.
Well, they can wait. They ain't in a hurry.
Go ahead and talk while I find it. I can't find it.
You got pictures over there.
Yeah, I know, but I wanted to show Jakyla. There it is.
Excuse me.
It won't pull up. Oh.
It won't come up.
It won't come up. Let's see if I can get it another way. Oh, shoot. Let's see if I can get it another way. Bear with me. Just bear with me, guys. I may be able to get it and may not. I think I may not be able to get it because it's just. Oh, I know what I can do. I know what I can do. They're gonna get tired of waiting on me.
No, they won't.
Yes, they will. They get tired of waiting on us. Let's see. Gotta get my bearings. Okay. Go back to the computer. Let's see. I can't upload it. Go ahead and talk because they can hear us.
Okay.
Go ahead and talk. Talk. They can still hear us and see us.
Well, go on, look for this picture.
I know. And it's in.
When you should get it, if you can get it, y'all like it.
If I can get it. Yeah. I wasn't prepared, so I'm having to think.
Okay.
There it is.
That's when she was a little bitty girl.
I'm going to have to share the screen in order for them to
Look
see
at that.
Now,
can they see it?
Yeah, they will in a minute. I'm going to have to share the screen. Let's see. There it is.
Oh, look at that.
Wait. There it is. There she is. How old was she then, Brandy? How old was she?
She was a little bitty girl.
How old was she then? She was tiny.
Ooh, wait. Can y'all see her? That's little Brand, little Brand Jr. Little Brand.
Tony and Vincent. You guys came in and we were trying to find a picture of Brandy's baby girl.
They can see her. They said we can see her.
Yeah.
She was a little bitty thing.
Yeah, she's not little anymore. How old is she now, Brandy? How old was she then? She was such a cutie pie. She was 6 months then. Wow.
Well, she's spry right now. She like Quaker Oats. She's spry.
Yeah, I saw that.
Up there.
Oh man, that's just too much.
6 months.
She was 6 months then, and she's 8 now. She's 8 now.
Look at that.
I found that the other day when I was browsing through some of our pictures for Christmas, and I thought, man, that's just too pretty. That's just too pretty. So anyway, thank you guys for waiting on us for
that's
finding
good.
that.
I appreciate y'all waiting on us.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Do we want to do an affirmation or meditation, or you want to just jump in?
Well,
you want to jump in?
Yeah, jump in there.
Well, okay. Well, I want to start just by saying that we were watching. I don't remember the lady's name who we watched the other day from Near Death Experience. Do you remember her name?
I don't remember her name. There's so many of them I watched.
And I can't even remember how she said it happened. But the one thing that stuck with me when she was talking, sharing her testimony, is when she said she exited her body and she found herself in this particular place with God, and she saw God, and she said God didn't have a face.
I remember.
And she said that she spent some time doing different things, going different places in that spirit world, and then at the end of that journey, God asked her, "So now, what do you want to do?" And she knew He meant whether or not to go back to her body or not. And she said, the choice, whatever choice you make, that's what I'll do. And then she realized what she said, because when she said that, that was the absolute surrender, is when you allow God, not so much allow God, but you surrender your gift of choice. And she surrendered choice up to God.
That's pretty powerful.
Yeah, that's a very, very deep surrender, a very deep surrender. One that I feel like if we were to make that, she said it scared her when she made it. It actually scared her. But there is that surrender was so deep that she knew at that moment she had no more choice.
That's pretty heavy.
Yeah, and it's actually not, I can't say allowing God, because there's no way you can allow God. God has preeminence. So, but it was her way of relinquishing the right to have a choice.
There's a preacher who wants me to come to his church.
Yeah.
And I'm supposed to meet with him on Friday.
Yeah.
First invitation I've had to go to a church to speak to a group of people in a long time.
True.
And I'm going to take a chance on it if I meet with him and he wants to talk to me more or wants me to come to his church. But I'll take a chance on it. And some of the things I will talk to him about would be the mysteries.
Of course.
And some of that is this.
And my prayer is that the value of the mysteries that's in your belly be appreciated.
Well, I got a few hot dogs in there from way back. Ate one hot dog and he got mad because I didn't have another hot dog in there to fuss with. So I ate another one and it slept good at night.
Yeah.
Okay. We did not come from. We can't come from because we are it.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. We all came from inside of each other. We came, and we can't go anywhere else because we are what we came from.
Vincent said, don't forget the lettuce and tomato on the hot dog. Because you always said that.
Hot dog with lettuce, tomatoes. A bad piece of tomato on
it. And based on what you just read and said to us from your notes there, Jesus Sharon, we watched just before going live. I had the desire to watch the last movie, the Matrix movie that they made in the trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
It was called Matrix Resurrection.
Mm-hmm.
And there were so many parallels to how we awaken in that movie, wasn't there?
Mm-hmm.
And the gist of the movie, in case you haven't seen it, is that Neo in the previous movie was taken by the machines and killed, and so was Trinity. They were both killed. But in this sequel, it started off, he was there, they were still alive, but did not have any memory of themselves being who they are. They had total different identities and had severe amnesia, didn't know who they were. And the whole movie is about them finding or having clues or glimpses of who their former life, who they were in that former life. And I felt like it was such a parallel to how we are now with our awakening experience. We are having glimpses of what we truly are and who we truly are. And it was in the movie, what was so interesting is that when their memory was restored, there was this potential of unlimited power that they had. And I feel that is pretty much the same thing that happens to us. That full potential of power doesn't really activate. It's lying dormant inside of us, but it doesn't become active until we have a remembrance of who we are. Now, we have had glimpses. We've learned. We've talked. We've had deja vus and all of that. But some of us still haven't had our memory restored. That is who we are. We embrace it when someone tells us this is what you are, and that's what Neo and Trinity went through in the movie. People telling them who they are once they were, after they started having all these different flashbacks. But that still was not a restored memory. But when they remembered and they had total recall, there was this power that potentially came from them. And I think that's what happens to us as well. Did you agree about? Would you agree?
Yeah. Refocus consciousness.
Yeah.
Will bring us to the place where we will find out that we are beyond consciousness. Seeing first person, when we see and I'm operating first person, is spontaneous and there's no trying to do it. Matter of fact, I can sense that we're operating in first person now in our conversation, the conversation of first person. In beingness and first person, new birth will take the back seat. Yeah. Now, that's a heavy one. Now, whether the church is ready to hear that or not, I don't know, but I do know that this is fact. And in first person, you operate from knowing and beingness that is beyond, first person beyond 2s and 3s and 4s and 5s and 10s.
Or fragmentation.
The joy and the fun that you experience in waking up from, let me say it like this. Everything that happened or seemed to take place in the first part, I say first part of this dimensional travels, the travelless travels, school, growing up, would all take the back seat. It's almost like there would be no more conversation about the past. Now, when first person is realized or made revelation or made revelatory insight, excuse me, everything that ever took place before then will have to be exposed in a degree of not being your true identity. Everything that happened during the school days, from the time of birth growing up, even though we're conversating about it now, the aha moment will practically wipe that out.
Yes.
And you'll see everything that you're not. You'll see everything that you're not. It will stick his head up through the ego like a cobra snake.
Yeah.
That is a sign that this story is dying.
Yes. The other day I shared with him after walking that morning. I got back with baby girl and I asked him the question, not really asking him the question rhetorically. I knew he had experienced this as well. What I have experienced, and I've experienced it multiple times, is and a lot of times it's when I'm outside walking in the neighborhood, was this overwhelming sense of well-being.
Yeah, you told me that.
Yeah, a sense of well-being. All of a sudden, it's like everything inside of me just relaxed. There was no fear of the future. There was no regret of the past. There was no dread. There was no imagining. There was no planning. There was no figuring out. There was no hoping. I mean, everything stopped. And I knew it was because at that point, my mind had gone offline. And so I've had that happen more than once. It doesn't usually last a long time for me, but I've had those times when the mind actually goes offline and everything is all right. There's no fear whatsoever. There's no no sense of being threatened, no sense of loss, there's no sense of lack, there's none of that. It's like everything is all right in the world. Everything is right in the world. And even no concerns for anything.
You know, you hear people say the man upstairs. In first person, there is no man upstairs.
Right.
There's no man downstairs.
There's no upstairs and downstairs.
That's right. When you wake up, when this happens, I'm just using the best word that I can to describe the indescribable or the nonverbal, because in first person, from what I'm aware of, there is no conversation with God. It is God speaking.
Yes.
I like
yes,
that. I like
yes,
that.
Yes, yes.
I like
Even
that.
when we receive what we call guidance.
Yep.
It's
that stops.
It's the higher intelligence that we are that speaks to the lowest mind that we think we are.
Because the whole thing is refocusing back to your original, back to the original essence, fully embarked upon. You come finally to the shores and you see from the seashores the coming of the waves coming in from the ocean. But then as you stand there, you find that you are the actual, not just the waves now. You find that you are the ocean itself.
And that you are just that wave running its course.
You know, it's almost like what we're talking about as a part of me that don't want to talk about it because
just want to be it.
Well, you know, it's like to talk about it dissipates it.
Yeah, it can.
It seems like it does. I can't. I mean, what do you teach? What do you say? What do you?
Because it's not a teaching.
It's not a teaching. It's not. It's not a teaching.
A lot of people call it a teaching, but it's not a teaching.
It's not a teaching. It's not a conversation. It's. I'm gonna tell you what the best way that I can describe the first person in this area is this. Watch this now. You have to pay attention to this. Watch this. The best way I can describe it is like this. That's the only way you describe it. If you say anything about it, you'll have to go back to this.
Yeah.
To really say something about it, to describe it, you'll have to go to this.
Yeah. Well, I watched a short video of Eckhart Tolle the other day. It was the title of it was "Beingness versus Doingness," or finding the balance between beingness and doing. And he said, and it's so true, that in our culture, in the world right now, that everybody's really prone or pushed and motivated to do. You have to perform some action to reach a goal. And there's nothing wrong with that, except that those of us who are focused on beingness, and we were talking about that focal point, focusing on beingness, we tend not to fit into that category or group of people who are highly motivated to do.
Keely's husband had surgery, is that right?
Yeah.
I sense right now.
I don't know I don't know if he's had any more surgeries.
Yeah, but that one I call divine healing to manifest itself in his head.
Yes.
I call the divine essence to expand itself into total awareness of who it is. It is said, I was sick and you visit me not. I was naked, you clothe me not. And they said, if you've done it unto the least, then you've done it unto me, him. So to the him that your husband is, Keely, to the him I call for divine awareness and consciousness of the him I am, or the I am he, to rise up into his head and around him, and the presence of the eternal essence manifests itself through him.
Yeah, and may his awakening experience override whatever is taking place.
And may he find out his other than himself.
Yes, yes. And he may already be doing that. But we're speaking it into existence along
I just felt that I should say that to him. I should say that to you right now.
Yes.
In the office, in the name and the office of Christ.
Yes. Divine healing.
Divine healing.
Healing's husband. Everybody type that in. Thank you, Vincent.
Yeah.
Everybody type that in, because that's what we're sending to you and Mark right now.
Right now.
Healing. We're doing that right now. And Vince's comment prior to him typing that was, there is no conversation. It's God speaking. So why do we divide inside and make it dual?
I have seen this operation, and it seemed like something slipped out of joint just for a second. And that you find that there's a part of us that once this happened, want to try to get back to it.
Yeah.
But there's no getting back to something that you've never been other than that.
Exactly. So my experience of having that no mind period of time isn't something that I need to grasp to hold on to.
Right.
Because it didn't change. Nothing changed except the mind shut down for a moment. And so I should not even it was a point where I wasn't even disturbed by if the mind cranked back up. Yeah. So I think we kind of get trapped when we try to stop the mind and try to hold on to that feeling. You know what I mean? That feeling of what some people label as bliss.
But you know, the thing of it is that we've always felt that when God speaks, or the divine speak, that it's going to say something so phenomenal that it's going to blow everything out of the socket. But no, it's not like that. The divine inside is the removal of duality.
Yes. Can I read a little bit out of this? This is out of course, for those of you who are afraid and you're in church and you're still in the confines of religion, you may not want to hear this, but if you are free from church mind, church brain, this is A New Earth. I don't know if you can see that. By Eckhart Tolle. And I'm going to read this. This is a chapter regarding awakening. And he says this: awakening is a shift in consciousness in which thinking and awareness separate.
Okay.
For most people, it's not an event, but a process that they undergo. Even those rare beings who experience a sudden, dramatic, and seemingly irreversible awakening will still go through a process in which the new state of consciousness gradually flows into and transforms everything they do and becomes integrated into their lives.
Integration. A new awareness takes on a different focus.
Yes.
I hear that. I hear that.
So, and he says also, instead of being lost in your thinking, when you are awake, you recognize yourself as the awareness behind it.
Okay.
Thinking then ceases to be self-serving, autonomous activity that takes possession of you and runs your life. Awareness then takes over from thinking.
Oh, I see. I hear that. I heard that before you said it.
Instead of being in charge in your life, thinking becomes the servant of awareness. Awareness is conscious connection with universal intelligence. Another word for it is presence or consciousness without thought.
One of the things that I became aware of here lately is that in this conversation, the conversationless conversation without words, you know, we say we can't have a conversation without words, but this, you see,
but you can.
God,
you can have a
created
conversation without words.
If I would say creation without words, without statements.
Intuition allows you to have conversation without words.
Yeah. It's almost like a vibration
at a
frequency.
feeling level. Almost.
Yeah.
It's a vibrational level.
When you ask somebody a question and they don't answer you, it goes into a vibration, and you say, "Oh, you got an attitude. You're picking up something."
Yeah.
That didn't say anything. It didn't say anything with words, but you're picking up the vibration.
Years ago, we studied a book about meta messages. You remember that? So it's not what people say, it's what they don't say. And it's the words, it's the emotions and tones that are behind what they say.
When enlightenment takes place, is the impartation of God, whose impartation is beyond statements.
Yes.
It comes into the factuality. Facts beyond faith, reality, beyond confessions, beyond positive thinking, beyond positive. Because one of the things that take place in the mind when first person is introduced to you, the mind acts a fool.
So you're talking about truth that's beyond trying to believe.
That's right. That's it. Beyond statements, beyond ink and paper. This is what people can't understand about the Word of God. The Word of God, they seem to think on a mental state, it has to be a word that comes from paper and ink from the book. But they fail to understand before any book was the author. Now, I'm going to go drastic on this. If we are what the author is of the book, then there's no need for a book after the author appears.
True.
Because when the author appears, the book is no longer, this is strong word now, because some people would say, you're not going to tell me that's anything beyond the Word of God. It is something beyond the paper and ink.
That is God himself.
That is the author of the book.
It's God himself. There's a little bit more. Can I read a little more?
Yes, ma'am. Go right here.
It says here, the initiation of the awakening process is an act of grace.
Oh, grace.
You cannot make it happen, nor can you prepare yourself for it or accumulate credits toward it. There isn't a sequence of logical steps that leads toward it.
Wow.
Although the mind would love that. And that's the it's the mind that's on the quest to get it.
Now here it is. Got more?
Yeah, just
go
a
ahead.
little.
Go ahead. Go
but
ahead.
If you got something,
no, go ahead. Go ahead.
It says you don't have to become worthy first.
Ooh.
It may come to the sinner before it comes to the saint.
The night that I saw Jesus.
Oh my gosh, that's good.
There was no contemplation.
That's your
at all.
There's something in there getting ready to explode.
Yeah, getting ready to explode. It's a revelation in the belly.
It's an old man in there going, listen.
Go ahead.
It may come to the sinner before it comes to the saint.
Yeah.
That's why Jesus associated with all kinds of people, not just respectable ones. There is nothing you can do about awakening. Whatever you do will be the ego trying to add awakening or enlightenment to itself as its most prized possession, and thereby making itself more important and bigger.
That was a man in a service we had back years ago who came into our services, and I pulled him out of the audience, and he was up front. And he was blind in one eye.
Oh, I remember that. We were at a Methodist church. Yes, I remember that. It was a packed house, too.
Huh? It was. It was.
There wasn't a seat left.
No, it was packed. And I think I took my handkerchief, and I covered up the good eye.
Yes.
And they let them know that he couldn't see. He couldn't see anything at all. Then I said,
his eye was so blinded he had a cloud.
Had a cloud in it.
Yes.
And I put the handkerchief over the blind eye.
He'd been blind for years.
Years, and he could see out of the good eye. But I said, now here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to change it. Now, when I put my handkerchief back there again.
No, I know what it was.
What it was?
You told him to take his handkerchief.
Oh, his handkerchief.
Yes.
Okay, that's what it was.
Initially, you told him to take his handkerchief
Mm-hmm.
and cover up the good eye.
Yeah.
And you prayed or whatever you did to minister the healing to him, and he got healed. But then you said, then when he took the handkerchief down, the whole place went up in smoke because he said he could see.
Yeah.
He could see.
Yeah.
And then you said,
here,
I'm going to take my handkerchief.
Oh, that's what it was.
Put it
that's
over
right.
your good eye. And
you remember the details.
And the thought in the man that didn't want to have your handkerchief.
Yep, because he thought my handkerchief was dirty.
He didn't know if it was dirty or soiled or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
He resisted that.
Pushed it away.
And the healing left.
That's right. Just that quick. His
mind robbed him of that healing.
And that simplicity of what we're talking about in first person.
Mm-hmm.
When I want to get ready to minister to somebody, anybody in the audience, you might hear people say, the Lord showed me. I felt God say, I sense the Lord wants to do this.
Mm-hmm.
In first person, it's like you don't let anybody know what is about to take place. You just do it. You just do it.
Yes. You do it.
It's like when
without second guessing yourself.
Yeah. It's like if you were in the house right now and you wanted something to eat and there's nobody in there to say, I think I want something to eat. I think I'll get it. Well, in first person, there's nobody there to say. True. Okay, I hear something. Nobody else to say to the creation of the universe, but God speaking to God himself. And if God decided that he wanted to do something like creation of the universe, he didn't have to say anything to anybody. He just did it.
Thank you. There was no words needed. The creative process is not of the mind at all, because the mind cannot create.
In the book, it says, in the beginning was the word was with God, and the word was God.
Yes.
And all things were made by him.
Yes.
If it were all things made by him, he didn't have to say anything. And then it say he spoke the worlds into existence by his word. Yeah. But if you go by that, you degrading the first person. You're going into 1, 2, 3, and 4. What I'm saying is that, okay, here it is.
Well, the thing is, if and we know it is true that everything was created by God, or there was no other substance to make anything out of except God.
That's right.
God is the substance of everything that has been created.
That's right.
God is the essence of everything that has been created.
When you sit down at the computer, you don't talk to anybody about what you're looking for.
Yeah.
Now, what I'm saying is this: the mind talks, but God don't have to use words to create anything. That's what gets me about people who say he created the world by his word. But what if he created it without words, with just himself?
Exactly.
That's crazy.
And who did he speak to?
Yeah, that's
what did he
if he did, he talked to himself.
If there were nothing else, what did he speak to?
When your mom and daddy.
One of the things that the lady who we listened to yesterday, who had the near-death experience, said was that God was not a he, was not a she, or an it.
Okay. A she and an it.
Oh, come on. See,
you rough girl, man.
You went
that's
there.
The truth. That's right.
There, didn't you?
Yeah, I went there. You did it right. You did it right. Now listen to this. I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell y'all something that happened. Miss Linda, baby girl, has a habit when I'm in the kitchen and she's upstairs. There's a cookie jar.
It's a glass.
It's a glass cookie jar.
Has a glass top.
And I can go to that cookie jar and lift the lid up off it real quiet.
It's full of peanut butter cookies.
She loves them.
She loves
but I can't give them to her a whole lot like her stomach is now. I raised that lid up without making any noise. And I put that lid back down on top without sound. But before I put it back on, I pick up 3 cookies. And I will stand, Miss Linda, I will stand after I put that lid back down on top of that jar. No sound at all. I just deliberately put it down where you can't hear anything with the natural ear. I stand there with those 3 cookies in my hand.
Just a few seconds.
And I look around the corner. And I hear something go boom, boom off the bed upstairs. We got 12, 14 stairs to go up with a landing in between them, making a left turn. Do you know, Miss Linda, that rascal can hear the cookies coming in my hand?
She did the same thing to me the other night. I got 2 out of there, and she was on the sofa asleep in the other room.
Yeah.
And I put it down just as quiet. I could not detect any sound. It wasn't a hot minute, wasn't even a minute, it was a couple seconds. She peeps around the corner, just looks at me like, okay, you went in there, didn't you? And she knew that I had gone in that cookie jar.
While I was sitting there eating, she comes up to me, she sits down, and she will stare at you.
That's her communication.
She's talking through her look. For the first time, Miss Linda, for the first time, I heard her speak English words to me intuitively.
You could hear it.
I heard her say, "Oh, so you don't want to give me none of that, do you? You want me to move on, don't you?" So I looked at her eyes. I said, "I heard you. Do you know that rascal turned around and walked away from me and went on the other end of the sofa and jumped up on it and laid down and said, that's the way you think about it. That's the way you feel about it.
Communication doesn't have to be words.
I'm telling you, I heard that dog words come out through her eyes, and it said, "Oh, you see, she hear it now."
Yeah, because we're talking about it.
Yeah, because we're talking about it.
So anyway, the communication doesn't have to be with language.
That's a crazy thing. She come down the stairs, and I'm standing there. I just wait, and I'm standing there looking. It's almost like telepathically she can hear the next step. There she is now. See?
Because you're talking about her. And she's finished her treat.
Look at this girl.
Yeah, she's finished her treat. I'm going to read a little bit to get us off of baby girl. We'll be talking about baby girl all night. All right. This is some more of what I was reading prior to. It says, if we allow whatever you do will be the ego trying to add awakening or enlightenment to itself, so that it can be more important and bigger.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
Instead of awakening, you add the concept of awakening to your mind, or the mental image of
mind adds concept to itself,
or the mental image of what an awakened or enlightened person is like, and then try to live up to that image. Living up to an image that you have of yourself or that other people have of you is inauthentic living, another unconscious role that the ego plays.
God answers every question with the impartation of his self. God asked every question with the impartation of his self. In the book, it said somebody had leprosy, and he said, "I will be thou clean."
I will be thou clean.
In other words, if there's cleanliness that you need, I'll be it.
I'll be there.
If there's blind eyes that you need to come open, I'll be it.
That's what the scripture meant when it says such a high priest became us. Became us.
In other words, we'd like to say, that just becomes him. That just becomes him. It just like him.
That color looks good, and it just becomes
you. The colors of your eyes are now the eyes of Jesus Christ. Every color of eye in the universe, he showed me, he became the sight and the color of every eye. When a person blind physically leave their body, they immediately can see.
Well, not only that,
because he's the sight.
Yes, and not only that.
You could say, boy, he's a sight.
A sight for sore
A
eyes.
sight for sore eyes.
I don't know where that came from, but anyway, if you think about it, if you go back to people who have had multiple personality disorder, there are instances where one personality will have a physical defect, and another personality that would surface would not even have it.
You know what? I want you guys. I know you're listening to us. And it's the Christ in you that speaks to the Christ in us, that speaks to the Christ in all of us at one time. On the Damascus Road, when God spoke to Apostle Paul, whose name was Saul, changed it to Paul. The thundering was heard by the horsemen on the road. It sounded like thunder, but it was God speaking to him on the Damascus Road. He
heard the language without words.
That's right. I heard, and Renee can bear witness to this. I heard a dog that we used to have that stayed behind our mobile home.
Yeah, our mobile home was in Mom and Dad's backyard. Yes.
And the dog barked.
Dooley was Mom and Dad's dog that they really didn't take care of. Yeah. And he was on a chain, and his house and his chain was right behind our bedroom.
Yeah.
And we could hear him barking or whatever. So that night we were in a deep sleep.
Moon shining bright.
Deep sleep. And all we heard Dooley bark.
One bark.
One time.
That's one time.
We both sat up and listened. And we looked at each other and we said, "Did you hear that?" In his bark, we heard the words, "I'm tired of being on this chain. Call the dog catcher to come and get me."
No, that's right. And that next morning we called it. Look what Vincent Kelly said there.
What?
You just got it. So then they could see the whole time they just
hadn't become aware of the truth.
Yes. Of the truth.
Yes.
Now, there is no truth without impartation of himself. The truth that we are. Now listen to this. Our bodies will not be able to see us when we leave it.
Right. The key words in what Vincent just mentioned is that they hadn't become aware of the truth.
Yeah.
They may have heard the truth. They may have embraced it and believed that they were that. But when the awareness when you become aware of it, that's the unleash of the power.
We want you to walk in this deliberately knowing, but if you don't know it deliberately, it does not change anything. I'm talking to God right now. Yeah. And listen to this.
Renee's re-emphasizing what we were saying. Dooley.
Dooley was
the dog's name was Dooley. He was a bird dog mixed with
Saint Bernard.
Saint Bernard. Pretty dog.
Yeah, he was. I wish we
very gentle dog.
Yeah, he was.
Very gentle dog. Really I never forget because Dooley's his place where he lived right behind our bedroom. It was no grass.
No grass.
And I mean it smelled horrible. But in order for me to screen that out, I remember listen.
Go ahead, I hear you.
I remember planting marigold flowers.
Yeah.
A whole row of marigold flowers in front of his lot.
Yes.
And it was pretty on the front, but if you go to the back side of those marigolds, they were all brown because he had peed on them.
Oh.
He had peed on them, burned them all up on the back side.
Your brother have a garden behind his house with tomatoes?
He did.
Somebody said he had the biggest tomatoes back there behind his house.
He used the cat's fertilizer. I know, that's terrible. But anyway.
And that was the biggest tomatoes I heard.
They were huge. He wanted to give them to me. I said, I don't want I want those tomatoes.
Look at here.
Linda says, baby girl feels the vibration of the cookie jar and can't get nothing past her.
I'm telling you the truth, Miss Linda.
She does. She actually.
I'm telling you, I put my hand on the book before the judge.
It was funny today. she got her hair done.
Yeah, the lady, it's a mobile lady. Come by.
Normally, we take baby girl to Jamie's house.
Yeah,
because she's only about 5 minutes away from us.
Mm-hmm.
So we would take her to her house, and she would groom baby girl in her truck right there in her driveway. But today, Jamie decided she'd come here and groom her. So when she got here, baby girl was like, "What's happening?" She stood at the door when we were all talking or whatever, kind of just having fun. And baby girl sat and just looked at all of us like, "What y'all up to?" And then she did this. She peeked out the door and looked at the truck like this, like, "What is that out there for?" It was just so funny watching her trying to process all of this.
God is now revamping himself inside to the outside.
He said, once you've had a glimpse of awareness or presence, you know it firsthand.
Yes.
It's no longer just a concept in your mind. You can then make a conscious choice to be present rather than to indulge in useless thinking.
By divine revelation and insight, God is
That's good.
God is knowing himself.
That's good.
Inside of himself. This thing is so rich. The fullness awareness. I want to say, speed this thing up. But if you speed it up, God, brace yourself in us to the degree that whatever is in front or in this vessel that seems like it's trying to hold you back, use the bypass system. Yes. I'm calling on you now inside of everybody. Oh, somebody say, "I don't know whether I'm ready for this or not." Ready or not, here I come. 1, 2, 3. Are you ready? Yes. He is now, as we speak this. Listen to this. That was a documentary on one of the sages named Osho.
Osho.
Osho. It was said that he had thousands of people in his services. But all of a sudden, when he started talking about himself in beingness of God, the congregation went loony. His followers, they've all got God. And the same thing, I'm telling you, by the notice that's been served on everything in your mind and around you in life, get ready to brace yourself, because the dark night of the soul cannot handle the light of this truth. When we came into these bodies of dream, we had to turn down the light. Teddy Pendergrass say, "Turn on the light."
Turn out the light.
Or turn out the light. Turn on the light. I'm going to say turn it on. Turn it up. You know that little dimmer thing on the wall you turn? I'm asking God to turn the dimmer switch up, because we're getting ready to burn through these speed bumps. We're getting ready to burn through these bumps in the road. Let me tell you how God, in metaphorically, is working this thing. I had a guy to pull up in front of the house out there when we was working and doing something in the yard, and he stopped his car. It was one of those electric cars
that you can't hear.
It didn't have no motor working in it. If it did, it was the quietest motor I ever heard, that I thought I heard that I didn't hear. All of a sudden, I look up, and he done stopped it in it. And when he stopped it in it, the car cut off, or did it cut off at all? I couldn't hear it. But all of a sudden, he took off. I didn't hear no bub, 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 bub. No sound of the motor. Okay. Stillness was speaking through sight. Now watch this. At such a time that your infinite eternal self sees fit to reveal it to the mind if it is necessary. Let me tell you something about the mind. He don't have to show this to anybody at all. True. You don't even have to know it.
That's right.
You don't even have to. I didn't expect Jesus to appear to me as me 54 years ago. I didn't expect it. I just went home, left this pretty girl, went to the house, and that morning, Jesus appeared to me. And when he did, I didn't know that the appearance of Jesus to me was me appearing to myself.
Yes, the super higher
intelligence. Oh, y'all hear this? Oh, this is gracious.
The higher self is
Can you hear this?
Is the greater intelligence of us.
God, yes. Please hear this.
Yes, yes,
yes. This is really something.
Yes.
This will kill a rock, wreck a train, and dare a piece of iron to catch rheumatism. It will cause a train to have a flat tire. It'll make water run up a hill. It'll turn every round wheel on a car square. It will cause everybody to take every bit of ABC liquor in the liquor store and pour it out.
Oh, Lord.
Yes, yes. God speaking without a tongue, God hearing without an ear, God seeing without eyes.
So God's voice has no sound.
That's right. He says the voice of many waters in the book, but I'm going to take the book and shut it down.
The voice of the many waters is the collective speaking as God as the many.
Oh, glory be to God. The importation has taken place.
Yes. Wow.
There is the mystery.
Truth beyond Christ. Truth beyond trying to believe.
God is what his word speaks. God is his word.
God's presence is speaking. God's actual presence is speaking.
His presence is his word.
It is.
And his word is himself.
It is. So,
when Jesus was in the hinder part of the ship with the disciples and the storm came up, he was the storm that came up, but he came up in the midst of the storm and the storm stopped.
And but this is the thing that gets me about that. Peter walked on the water looking at Jesus. The reciprocal gaze caused Peter to walk on the water while the storm was happening. And it even stopped. He walked on the water while the storm was happening. It couldn't be that as our awareness awakens, is it possible that awakening causes us to walk on water during the storm? In other words, to transcend the storm to the point that we still are able to continue progressively forward, even though there are obstacles, even though there's threats, even though there's challenges, we're able to rise up and walk anyway.
Before we moved from the first house we rented, I remember being in bed and I had an out-of-body experience. And I came out and I started walking through the wall. And all of a sudden, as my spirit body got in the wall, consciousness began to take over from the body area.
The mind
said like that.
Began to
and I stopped
and have an opinion about it.
It stopped. I stopped and got stuck in between the wall on both sides. The mind
got you stuck. Yeah.
Honey, look. This stuff is so potent, so rich. It is absolutely rich. Is there anything you like to say, if you can say it out loud or in loud?
Wow.
We would like to hear your response to what we're talking about tonight. We don't want you to say ugly things, but if you say ugly, I can get past the ugliness. But if you're going to talk to us, let's hear something that edifies and brings to a forefront awareness. What we're talking about. Yeah. Can you help us tonight with a statement or something? Say something about this. Let's hear you, the Christ you. I heard Moo just say, If you cannot say the most ridiculous thing about yourself that you are in first person of oneness, don't say anything at all.
Mm-hmm.
You are seeing something on this site tonight.
Muji also said this, that when you have this awareness awakening, go somewhere and cover your head up with pull the cover up
when
over
you
your
think
head.
you got a corn on this thing, go cover up and then go back through it again. You didn't get it like you thought you had.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, all of you guys out there, all of you first person believers, seekers, knowingers, travelers, flying winged vessels of the unction of the Spirit. I speak to the Christ in you, and I call forth the Christ in you to come to the forefront of your already conscious self. Come forth in full awareness.
Take heart. I want you to take heart. You are being taken care of. You are being awakened.
Yes, yes.
Grace is doing that without you having to apply all this effort. And grace has already done it because it's only the mind that says you're not that yet.
Yes, yes, yes.
Thank you guys so much. Thank you.
We are wishing the Christ in you to have a very Merry Christmas. We'll be back again on Thursday afternoon.
And
then
on Christmas Eve, which is Sunday.
Sunday is Christmas Eve. We won't be here, will we?
We'll be here.
We'll be here.
Yeah,
okay.
We'll be here. We'll do a short version.
We'll do a short version.
Because we're meeting with our family that day.
I am wonderfully blessed.
We are.
By the Christ that you are. Hear me, please. I have a hashapokose. I hear that. Oh, God, I feel that those inarticulate speeches to express what we talked about tonight. I don't know anything else to talk about.
You know, and I told my family this year, we don't have to give gifts.
Yes.
We are the gifts.
Pastor Armstrong, I'm the Christ in you and your wife got a box. I want you to respond to me about the gift that was sent to you guys in that box. I sent it, and you should have had it yesterday.
Oh, he got it. He said he got it Saturday.
Yes. But I am so graciously, marvelously blessed, stamped and sealed from the top of our head, your head, to the bottom of your feet, from rooter to tutor. I want to thank you guys for coming to earth to allow the Christ in you to express itself through our class tonight. I am wonderfully blessed that you are now breathing in and out the Christ self. There's nobody else like you but him, God himself. Thank you so much. Glory be to God. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Hallelujah. Glory be to God. Now,
hit the like button.
Yes.
While you're thinking about us.
And whatever you want to send is okay to us. Because what we talked about tonight is the greatest supplier of any need.
And I will say this again. I've said it before and I'll say it again, that these sessions often help us.
They do. We've been saying this for 50-some years.
Yeah, because a lot of times we're just like you guys. During the day, we get bogged down with all kinds of stuff.
Yes.
And our minds will go crazy and we have all these different ups and downs in our feelings or whatever. And then when we come in here, we have to talk. Let's talk. And walk this walk while we're sitting here. We have to transcend what our minds are saying and what our feelings are saying.
There you go. I was told to go through the table of contents in the Bible and read off all the names that were listed as God's men and the ladies. And he said to me, each one of the names that I read was member of the triune board council room, where I was taken to see everybody that was sitting around an eternal stretch, eternal life table that Jesus was sitting and the rest of them were. Rise up, Joe Renee say, rise up and walk through the storm. Yes, we are wonderfully blessed.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to say this to you guys. Glory, hallelujah. Glory, hallelujah.
What's that song?
The
I
ego is
What's that song? I just want to say that I love you more than anything.
Wow, I like that. They won't say that.
I love you, Jesus.
I love you.
I worship and adore you. Just want to tell you.
I'm gonna tell
that
you
I love you.
That I love
more
you
than anything.
Look at you singing tonight. You just think.
I just want to say that I love you more than anything.
I'm gonna put you on the road. We're gonna make some. We're gonna make a living. I just want to say I love you more than anything. Woo! That feels like cool water, living water, running up and down my solar plex back area. Thank you very much.
Down your solar plex area.
Huh?
Down your solar plex.
Soul in every other area.
Okay, guys, we're going to take off here and we'll see you next time. We'll be back on Thursday with Pastor Norman.
Yeah, we will.
Lord willing, and Pastor Norman's available. We'll be back. And we're looking forward to talking to you guys. If we don't see you Thursday, we'll definitely see you Sunday.
Okay.
Yes, Sunday.
Sunday.
Same time.
Until then, see you on the next turnaround.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.